Most gardeners throw cardboard away without realizing they are discarding one of the most powerful soil-building tools available. What makes this shocking is not that cardboard works, but how effectively it transforms dead ground into living soil when used correctly. This is not a shortcut, not a gimmick, and not a hack. It is a biological trigger that wakes up microbes, earthworms and fungi faster than almost anything else you can lay on soil. Once you understand what cardboard actually does underground, you will never compost the same way again. Why cardboard works when other mulches fail? Cardboard is pure carbon. Soil life depends on carbon more than anything else. When cardboard touches moist soil, it becomes a slow-feeding energy source for fungi and bacteria. Unlike straw or wood chips, cardboard breaks down evenly and holds moisture tightly against the soil surface. That moisture layer is critical. Microbes cannot function without consistent moisture. Cardboard creates a stable microclimate where soil biology can multiply without stress. So, let's talk about how cardboard, it feeds fungi first, and why that's actually important. You see, healthy soil is typically fungal dominant. Fungi have this remarkable ability to transport nutrients over long distances and deliver them right to plant roots. Now, cardboard's dense fibres are honestly just perfect fungal food. When fungi get to work colonizing cardboard, they spread downward into compacted soil and bit by bit start restructuring it from the inside. And you know, this is really how hard ground softens, without any digging at all. Now, let's talk about the hidden weed control advantage. Cardboard blocks light completely, you see. It's interesting, weeds actually germinate from light signals, not just from seeds. By removing light, while, feeding soil life, cardboard suppresses weeds while building fertility at the same time. It's quite a clever approach, really. This dual action is exactly why cardboard outperforms fabric weed barriers, which, unfortunately, tend to suffocate soil instead of feeding it. So, here's how to prepare cardboard the right way. Always use plain brown cardboard, making sure it doesn't have any glossy coatings. Be sure to remove all tape and labels. And, it's best to tear the cardboard rather than cutting it. Torn edges, you see, expose the fibres and allow microbes to enter much faster. Before you use it, soak the cardboard. Dry cardboard, after all, tends to repel water. When the cardboard is fully saturated, it bonds with the soil instantly. The exact water preparation is what really accelerates the breakdown. So, fill a container with 10 litres of water. Next, submerge the torn cardboard pieces completely, making sure they're all under the surface. Let them soak for at least 30 minutes. This process ensures full saturation and immediate microbial contact once the cardboard is placed on the soil. If faster breakdown is desired, just add 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses to the water. This feeds microbes immediately and, it jump-starts decomposition. Layering cardboard for composting success. Lay cardboard directly on bare soil. Overlap pieces slightly to prevent light gaps. Now, do not leave air pockets underneath. You want to press it flat, making sure the cardboard sits snugly against the soil. On top of the cardboard, add organic material immediately. This can be things like compost, leaves, grass clippings, or even kitchen scraps. The top layer supplies nitrogen, which, balances the carbon-heavy cardboard below. This balance is what prevents slow breakdown. Why cardboard composts faster underground than in piles? Traditional compost piles rely on turning and oxygen. Cardboard composting relies on soil contact and moisture. Underground microbes work continuously without disturbance. Earthworms are drawn to the moist carbon layer and they drag cardboard fibres downward, mixing them into the soil naturally. So, how long does cardboard actually take to disappear? In warm, moist conditions, cardboard begins breaking down within just a few weeks. In most gardens, it fully integrates into the soil within, 3 to 6 months. What really matters is not the speed, but the transformation. Soil structure improves long before the cardboard is completely gone. Cardboard composting for raised beds, it's really quite effective. Cardboard is ideal for raised beds built on poor ground. Laying cardboard at the base prevents weeds from invading while also converting the soil underneath into rich humus. This method creates depth without the need for importing expensive soil. So, why do no-dig gardeners rely on cardboard? Well, it's because digging actually disrupts those all-important fungal networks in the soil, you see. Cardboard helps to preserve these networks, allowing them to thrive just beneath the surface. Instead of turning the soil upside down, cardboard kind of feeds life from the top down, supporting a healthy, living ecosystem. This method, really mirrors forest floors, where soil builds itself layer by layer over time. There are a few mistakes that can stop cardboard from working properly. Leaving cardboard dry, for instance, slows decomposition quite a bit. Failing to add nitrogen, that causes stagnation. And using glossy cardboard introduces unwanted chemicals. Skipping soil contact, honestly, turns cardboard into trash instead of food for the earth. Each step matters. The microbial explosion most people miss. When cardboard is combined with moisture and organic matter, microbial populations surge. Bacteria multiply first, followed by fungi. Protozoa arrive next and release nutrients in plant-available forms. This cascade is what transforms soil into a nutrient engine. When to apply cardboard composting, you might wonder. Honestly, any season works, but fall and early spring are ideal. Cooler temperatures reduce moisture loss and allow microbes to establish before heavy planting. When cardboard is laid down months before planting, it creates soil that genuinely feels alive by the time the roots arrive. Now, why does this method keep getting better year after year? Well, each layer of cardboard adds carbon to the soil, and that's a permanent change. Over time, the soil becomes darker, softer, and honestly more resilient. Water retention improves and nutrient cycling stabilizes. It's quite remarkable, really. So, this is how soil becomes self-renewing. The mindset shift that changes everything, really, is realizing that soil is not something to manage. Instead, it is something to feed. Cardboard is not waste. It is, in fact, fuel. Once you see cardboard as biology instead of trash, well, gardening becomes easier and more predictable. If this changed how you look at composting, do consider subscribing to Nature's Blueprint. Share this with a gardener who is tired of fighting weeds and poor soil, and help spread methods that work with nature instead of against it.